Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to share with you a longer clip between me and Jim Morgan tackling the pros and the cons, the best and the worst of the new vampire reward cards that were recently shown on Splinterlands Discord. So we go into every single card one by one, talking about what is good and what's bad, what works and what doesn't, and then even ranking the top 4 from that whole list of cards. I think this is well worth your time and attention. I hope you do too. Stick around and stay tuned. Like and subscribe. Drop a comment below. If I respond to your comment, I'll send you a little thank you. So make sure you leave that IGN. Guys, have an amazing day. God bless. Let's talk about the new reward cards, Jim.
All right.
So guys, I don't know, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't, but they're on Splinterlands. They've got where's the Discord? They've posted more information from we saw previously these two, right? Hungry Skull, which this one in my opinion is a must have. And then we later saw, or the same day we saw Vampiric Blossom, which I think is good. Strong. It's strong. But I don't feel like it's absolutely necessary. I think in certain contexts it's gonna be extremely powerful. Like Jim was saying before we started recording, this is gonna be very devastating against like a llama cube. But that feels kind of niche. Like that's not an everyday battle. And I find Death Blow. That's what that's called, right? Death Blow?
Yeah.
I find that's kind of, you almost can't like expect Death Blow to come in handy. Like to think that through, you'd have to know your opponent was trying like for instance, a llama cube. And if he's trying a llama,
noxious fumes, they do it.
Yeah, they do. And so, but that's like, if that's what you're saying, the one time you feel like you really are going to know, I would argue that's proof that it's quite niche. It's like that one moment with that one rule set where you know your opponent has llama and you've seen him play it in the last 5 matches. It's like, yeah, he's probably going to try llama cube, and okay, in this setting, I'm going to use this. But I feel like that is relatively niche. Not saying it's a bad card. It is a good card, even though I'm kind of slagging it. But then you look at this thing and it's like, well, first
Equalizer.
of all, 11 shield is amazing. Equalizer, this is going to be a beast.
Dude, it dies to magic. It's bad.
With that, yeah. I guess not an equalizer though, right?
Yeah.
And then
I mean, it'll still die an equalizer to magic, but it's not as easy.
Yeah, and I know that I use the Enchanted Defender all the time in equalizer rule sets, and it's very successful. And it's a similar build. And then it's got the flight, which is with 4 speed, which is very quick. I would argue this is going to be kind of evasive even. The Thorns is nice. Plus the Archery Reflect is great. I really like this card. I think this is a must-have card. I think from melee and in position, equal opportunity, super sneak, like probably 4 different rule sets. I think this is going to be very good. And this one, I feel like Noxious Fumes is going to be interesting. You know what I mean? Like, so, but there's tons of new ones that I'm just seeing today for the first time.
Bakuoni says, isn't that saying the same thing for this card? You're still talking about 2 situations that can be niche. Well, a lot more cards can also have opportunity, and if they don't have magic, he completely like shuts them down.
Mm-hmm. And
so it's like, yeah, 2 situations in terms of, rule set, but how many monsters, even if you put it in the back line, how many monsters have sneak? Yeah. How many monsters also have opportunity attack?
Yeah, and I actually think there's more than 2 rule sets. So this one, like quickly, Splinter cards, gameplay, rule sets, switched icons. No, I better look at names. No, maybe icons. Okay, so Melee Mayhem, because you can put that monster, the Hungry Skull, in the back, giving you sneak protection. Think that through. Giving you a melee monster from the back. Plus the Hungry Skull is evasive. It has 4 speed and flight. That's going to be quite evasive. So Melee Mayhem, it's going to be a great fit in the back. Lost Magic, it's going to be great. Equal Opportunity, it's going to be great because again, it's got 3 melee damage plus thorns and all kinds of armor. Equalizer is going to be great. Super Sneak is going to be great. I think that's 5 That's 5 different settings that it's going to be, in my opinion, a very strong addition. And then remember, it also has flight. So even in Earthquake, maybe it's going to be a help. So I actually think 5 or 6 settings, as opposed to that archery unit, really, the immunity is going to help you in Noxious Fumes. And you're right. It
nice
totally
close range.
Yeah,
input,
it's yeah,
obviously.
that's true. To be good point, Jim. Where is that one? Close range, where the archery can fire from the first position, is definitely going to be nice too.
Yeah, I don't even. Why can't I see it on there?
I don't see it either. But
Oh, it's right next to the broken arrow, next to Earthquake.
yeah, close range. So again, I think I get the feeling you guys think I don't like this card. I do like it. I'm just saying, of these two, this is by far the better card. And I consider this must have. Now let's look at the rest.
Yeah.
This is an amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah. So this is level 1. So he's going up to, I looked at these for like 10 seconds before the video started, guys. So I'm kind of taking it in for almost the first time. Yeah, another archer unit that's going to really lend himself well to Jotun. I know not everybody has Jotun. Most people don't have Jotun, but Scattershot with Blast is great. Plus the archery buff from a theoretical Jotun would be great. Cripple is, I'm really starting to like Scattershot too, by the way, even from any of it. Like I saw Bulldog do a video the other day where he was featuring Scattershot, and he was showing like what it can look like to have 2 Scattershot monsters on your team using that gem meteor. And I thought it was quite an effective play, actually. So this is a card I'm going to want. Again, like same thing. Archery to me is it's never a card I want to base my whole thing around. So right out the gate, to say that it's an archery monster makes me less interested. But again, I think it's a great card. And it's going to do a good amount of damage, especially with that cripple. And I love that the Scattershot's going to deke and dodge on taunts, right?
Pardon, say that again? I was reading chat.
Oh, just saying that the Scattershot, really like it. Super effective. Going to get around taunts. Love that.
Yeah. That part's amazing because like taunt is so prevalent right now.
Mm-hmm. This card to me, like if I had to score it out of 10, in terms of desirability, 10 meaning I must have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this is, right now I'm thinking 7, possibly 8, maybe 6. And I want to revisit it after I look at the rest of these reward cards to kind of think that through. So it's good.
It really
it's strong.
depends if you have Jotun or not.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, it's a really cool card, but if you don't have a way to like buff his damage up more, it's okay. And I like to synergize my creature lineup more with my with the summoner to get overall more value.
Yeah, and what do we got here? This one looks beefy. 8 mana is expensive. And again, we got archery. So initially I think, wait a second, that's probably too much mana for an archery, but opportunity, I love this. With there's that death archery monster with opportunity, the new legendary. What's that one called? Lyra the Dark or something?
Yeah, Lyra.
Lyra, yeah. So, and I love her. And the Lyra costs 7 mana, so this is in the ballpark. Plus Vampire, or Life Leech rather, is so clutch. And if you did have Jotun, this thing's going to be leeching 1,000,000 hit points per turn.
So real quick, guys, if you haven't done the math with this, right? If she has 4 ranged attack with the Jotun, right, going to 5, and now giving you blast triggers for your life leech. Okay, so the 5 damage instantly heals you for 3, and then the 2 side attacks deal 3 damage, healing you for 2 each one. So now that's 4 plus 3. Every attack, you can get up to 7 life.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah, this card to me is very strong. But again, it doesn't have close range. I like that it has camo because that's going to let that life leech really go to work. I like the opportunity. I love the affliction, and the increased speed is really, really huge. And this is a great support. These are 2 great support abilities, affliction and swiftness.
The swiftness is really needed in red.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I consider this very strong. But it's not like a 9 or a 10 for me that I must have it because of the archery. It's probably in the 8 range. Like again, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being must have. I'm going to say right now it's probably an 8. And again, I reserve the right to revisit it later after we look at the other cards and see if something changes in my mind. What about you, Jim?
Yeah, it's if you have Jotun, these 2 fire cards are really up there.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I just think they're mediocre.
Yeah. I mean,
so like the 6 range, 6, 7.
8 mana is a lot.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I like it a lot though. I do. Especially because of the support mechanisms that are over here with the affliction and the swiftness and the camouflage allowing the life leech to go to work. In a 99 mana game, I see this being very helpful.
Even 60 or 50.
Yeah.
50, 60, right?
Yeah. This card, first of all, 4 mana. I love anything in that Little League. And then to see that it goes up to 3 archery, which is quite high in my opinion for 4 mana. Love it. The speed is good. The hit points are reasonable. Again, life leech. Cripple is I love Cripple. When you're facing off against, Cube or what's that whale? That blue whale from the blue team? You know what I mean?
Jira.
Yeah. Fuck, Jira. Cripple can be so helpful.
Yep.
Given that this is like a 4 mana monster and it's going to have that extra utility in low mana matches and in Little League matches, I feel like this is probably a 6 or a 7. Now, I like it a lot though. I probably like it better than even this card. Yeah, I do. I like it better than this card. And for the mana cost and the synergy too, that this will work. Like there's a lot of good archery units on the blue team for low mana.
I actually, so at first I thought this card was a rare. So I was like, oh, it can go to level 4 in silver, except it goes to level 5 in silver, and now it has that 2 damage. This card's a lot better than I was thinking it was.
I'm glad you said that.
Because yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, 1 damage with Cripple. Like that's not that great in silver. But then I was like, but 2 damage with Cripple in silver, that's good. Along with now 4 speed if you're using the Kelia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I like this card a lot more now.
I like that you said that because I wasn't thinking that way. I was looking at it from the high level, and it's going to fit in my deck quite well at the highest level. But yeah, pointing out that it can reach that threshold with a 60 BCX at silver, that you're right. That is a big upgrade right there.
Yeah. And like bronze, this card's not that great in bronze.
Hey Yuki, good to see you, buddy. How is this card allowed? Which one is he referring to? 8 mana probably. 8 mana is nothing now. Mana is so high. Yeah, most of the time, Bakuani. Most of the time. But sometimes you get those games, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row where it's like 20 mana, 20 mana, 12 mana, 14 mana. And in those moments you're like, oh, these 8 mana cost archery monsters are not getting thrown out there in those sort of 20 mana matches.
Yeah.
King Matt, if you have a Jotun, it's a 12. Yeah, you're probably right. That one archery unit, this one right here, if you have Jotun, and if you have at the highest level, and if the archery, the rule set includes archer close range, this is a carry card because of the life leech and the opportunity and the blast damage and the camouflage. You could just bury it behind like 1 cost, creeping ooze, 0 cost chicken.
Still broken if you're in close range.
Yeah. Pardon?
I was saying it's just so broken if you're in close range. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Especially if you had Jotun, and especially if you could give it a little bit of breathing room to let it get that vampire blast happening, that life leech blast happening.
Yeah.
But that's going to be kind of rare, right? Like most people don't have Jotun, but man, he's right. It's if you have Jotun and if it's closeness, it's like off the charts.
Tidebiter.
I like the 3 mana cost.
Yeah.
Another melee monster from the blue team. Great speed. Well, good speed. And then you add 1 because of Kelia. 3 damage is very sound. 3 damage for 3 costs is a great, that's a great payoff. 6 hit points is pretty reasonable, man. This is like kind of a mini tank almost.
Yeah.
And then it's got this puppy, which really makes that more resilient. That's that new ability. Guys, what does the chat think about the Tidebiter? I like this one.
Yeah, the fact that in silver he's able to get the reflection barrier or reflective barrier, which now stops all thorns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since he had like a lower HP as well, even if there's any random blast, that makes it to where only your front line is going to be eating the blast damage. Like if there's a taunt or if they just attack the front line, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know what actually gets around this is scatter shot.
Does it?
Because now they can just attack him and not have to worry about the blast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little cheeky thing that could happen, but
I really like it. I mean, for a 3 mana cost secondary tank, it's resilient. It's got a good amount of hit points, especially at the high levels, guys. I'm looking for my diamond champion teams. 6 mana with that new reflect shield or whatever it's called is resilient. 3 mana, that's really resilient. And then because of the reach, it's like doesn't even need 10 or 12 hit points because of the reach and this reflect shield. It's a strong card, and the true strike is just nice. Like it's almost kind of whatever because you got a good amount of speed, so you're probably going to land anyways. But in Little League, this is going to be a very strong secondary tank. Yeah. What'd the chat say? King Matt says, yeah, I love Tide. Yeah, because of the thorns. Yep. Hold my cards. Little League Monk tank. Yeah, totally. Tidebiter second. Yep, that sounds like a great combo. The Monk has got, I think, a 3 or 4 speed. The Tidebiter's got that 4 speed, I think. Yeah, that's a strong combo. Bakuoni, if he's the lowest hit point unit. Opportunity can get around this if he's the lowest. Yeah, that's true. But with 6 hit points, I bet he won't be the lowest hit point monster on the field. Nightbot. Oh yeah. Viruses makes water a bit better for the Little League. Yeah, I like water for Little League. I do. I think I've often kind of called out how effective they can be for a relatively low price. Let's quickly look at some of the cards. Let's see, regular. We'll buy actually. Regular, chaos. So, just picturing Little League. Well, I like the Igor Dark Spear. I like the Cruel Cethropod for my tank. The Murdali Guardian gets the heal and the repair, so he gets to repair and then heal. If you bring, you can also do the Monk, like somebody was shouting out earlier. The Monk's is a 4 mana cost. It's a neutral monster, but it works well with this team. and then you're going to get that armor from Kalia, so the monk can benefit from the Merdali Guardian. This is a really great card because it has the repair and the tank heal within, I think that's gold, isn't it?
5 epic, I believe so.
It's rare, so I think.
Oh, it's rare.
Yeah.
Then yeah, that's gold.
Yeah. So I like Setherpod, Merdali Guardian, Dark Spear, and there's more. Oh yeah, the Angelic Mandarin too at the highest levels with the silence and the triage and a good amount of hit points. I find right there that's an effective team. Plus Kulu Swim Hunter with a 4 mana and the 4 damage. Like that's a strong archery focused team with a decent resilient tank that's going to have heal and repair. Opportunity takes advantage of, like, would probably beat me because it's going to kill my Guardian quickly and maybe my low hit point Dark Spear, but it's a good team. It's an interesting team. Okay, let's see. I would like to see an option to have a mana filter at the market. I agree. That would be great. Or is there one? Maybe there is one. Nope, there is not. Yeah, like just looking for 4 mana and lower. That's a great idea. Jarvie, if you're listening, add a filter for 4 mana and under, like Little League or Big League, I guess. You should be able to like select whatever mana you want to look at, but even a little button that said 4 mana or less would be quite helpful because it would grab all your Little League monsters. Let's keep going. There's still more. We looked at Biter. Ragur. Vampire Bat. This is interesting because of the speed. Look at this, guys. It's got 5 speed at the highest levels with flight and dodge. This is practically unhittable unless you bring like 6 or 7 speed or you bring a flying unit with like 4 or 5 speed, because if you fly, your flyer will negate my flight evasiveness. But that dodge, this is I think 100%. If you have a 1 speed, I think it's 100% chance to dodge. I think
80%.
80
because 5 speed, so 50% plus the 50 from the abilities, and then you subtract 1, which is 10% speed, so 90.
Yeah, you're right. For 3 mana though, that's amazing evasiveness. With 3, this is a lot like the Cocatrice, which is an amazing card, but Cocatrice is a neutral.
This thing can essentially body a Grum.
Yeah, dude, Grum is just gonna whiff for days.
10% chance. Yeesh.
Yeah.
But then again, you play Epona. I think Epona gives swiftness, so then you're able to just get around that.
Yeah.
And then make it 100% dodge chance.
So I didn't rate this one. Let's see. It's got 3 mana. It's got a good amount of damage. It's common, so you could get up to 5. It's got 2 damage at kind of silver. It's got a flight with 4 speed. It's pretty evasive. It's a good little league kind of contributor, but I don't see it as being really helpful unless it's like equal opportunity. I mean, is it called equal opportunity? Equal opportunity, super sneak, or like melee from any position.
I was going to say, also melee only makes it to where you're just going to be able to dodge a lot of stuff. Yeah,
that's true. And then I guess Earthquake, it's nice. It's got flight. It just feels like I find Cocatrice is quite helpful in certain settings. And this feels a lot like Cocatrice, but it takes a certain enemy. Like if your enemy throws any magic at you, it's just not going to work. This is better than Cocatrice though in its number of hit points, I think. This is a good card. It's a good card. I don't know that I love it. It's more like I'm going to say it's like a 7, which is like a good score. Like I like it. It's not an 8 or a 9 to me.
Yeah.
I already talked about this one. It's a good card, and I will buy it, but Gween. I like the art. Looks kind of almost indigenous or something. 2 mana card. The white team has some really cheap melee monsters. I like it. The Vulture I love. the dodge, the enrage. Wow. So
Kind of a fan of this card.
me too. Yeah. What do you think,
It's
Jim?
like he's already pretty quick, and then if he gets hit, then he's just quicker.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be hitting you for like 5 at max level for 2 mana, and he also has a lot of HP with that scavenger. This guy's kind of a baller.
Yeah. This is an 8 for me. Because it actually can do significant damage, because it actually can have a high hit point value, because it's really quite evasive, because it has enrage and well, that's partly why it can do so much damage. But then ultimately, because of the 2 mana cost and how functional and versatile that will be, you could play this thing successfully in like a 2 mana match. I mean, a 12 mana match, and where you end up fielding probably 3 or 4 monsters on that white team, because they have, I forget who they have at least. Let's quickly look. Stitch Leech for 3, Soul Fiend with the speed, Celestial Harpy, Blinding Reflector. Chaos Nade has got Inspire at the higher levels, and it's nice if you can like drop an Inspire in there to buff up, the Stitch Leech and the Celestial Harpy, and now that that new Wolf card we just looked at. So I'd say
fan of low mana or little league white. I think they just got some really good stuff.
Yeah. Strong card. Strong. So far this is currently my favorite, maybe my first or second favorite card. Considering this is rare though, I actually like this. This probably gets the nod over this one.
Countess.
Yeah, Countess is awesome.
Man.
But legendary archery doesn't always work. Legendary 8 mana doesn't always work. This one is going to work in almost any setting you want it to. I like it a lot.
I'm a huge fan of this card.
I've seen the artwork before, but I feel like I knew that we were getting a Bloodlust monster, but I don't know if I knew that anymore. I'm kind of not sure anymore. It's good, man. Yeah, like it's low in the hit points, but I love that it has True Strike, because it's super slow and piercing, dude.
It hits like a truck, dude.
Wow. In an equalizer setting, I would confidently play this every single time. Like because the real weakness here is 4 hit points is not enough. 6 hit points is not enough. But if it had 8 hit points because of equalizer, I love it. I really think this
Eli has actually talked about this, and he says it in here. Put Jared with a taunt in the back row to give him more protection.
That's true. That's smart. Yeah. Yeah, dude, this is strong. And the Bloodlust is going to get carried away because that piercing and the True Strike is going to work together. It's synergistically allowing you to look at this 7 hit points. Are you joking me, man? This is nuts. This is really, really good.
This dude hits like a truck.
If
this thing like becomes very popular, like you need to play Force Field.
Yeah, you're right. So a Force Field counter would be really nice for you.
Otherwise, he's just going to slaughter everything.
That to me is like, that could be a 9. That's probably a 9 out of a 10. So far, this is definitely hands down my favorite card, and some of the reasons why it's under 10 mana. It hits for 7, which is bananas. 5 at the lowest levels is crazy. True Strike.
The same as his mana cost.
What's that? Yeah,
I said his damage is the same as his mana cost.
That's like a testament, right? Like if that happens, that's like a real indicator of high damage. And then the speed is what are the problems of this card? The speed and the hit points. The speed is solved by in a sense, it's solved by the True Strike, and then also by the Bloodlust, which will cause it to go up and up and up. And then the other weakness is the low hit points, but you've already thrown out a solution there, Eli. You know, the taunt is an interesting solution, or you can do you could play it in certain rule sets, right? Like where, you know, there's lost magic, for instance. So, you know, you're not going to get, the armor is going to help you out, or equalizer rule set or whatever. So yeah, I like it a lot. Very, very strong. We already talked about Hungry Skull.
Oh, real quick. So, someone said that Oceanus will like be able to handle that card. Guys, so Oceanus has 3 attack at main. Oh, well, he does have the force field. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just like completely tanks Jared. But obviously, there's always going to be something to stop something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the cards are broken and they're going to be $200, and then you better be prepared to pick those cards up before they jump.
Yeah. Yeah. This card is not impervious, but it is 7 mana. And for this amount of damage, there are no other cards that are doing that kind of damage for 7 mana. I don't think there's even the Exploding Dwarf, which is 5 or 6 melee damage. And it's one of the most powerful melee monsters in the game it has 5 mana cost. This is more than that. It's slower than that, sure, but this Bloodlust is gonna work so well with that Pierce and the True Strike. The True Strike means the speed almost doesn't matter as long as it doesn't die before it gets to punch, and as long as there's no force field in front of it, it's probably gonna kill what's in front of it. This thing's awesome.
I love this card.
Revealer. I haven't seen this one at all. So stun is so important, dude. Stun is such
It has stun.
And you got,
which is huge.
It's a bit slow, so that's kind of a problem, but that's not necessarily, it's only a 4 mana cost, and it's got the 2 archery damage at, hang on.
Magic, yeah.
That's silver, right? I think so. 5.
Well, yeah. My bad. Yeah, it's silver.
Yeah. So silver, you can pull out the 2 magic, which is really, really awesome. You got the stun, which in silver and bronze, there's almost no stuns. So this is actually...
Yeah, there's like nothing.
Yeah, this is really going to be quite pivotal for bronze and silver participants, because there's those knockout games that there's never anybody you can't stun with. So therefore you can't take advantage of knockout. Well, this is going to give you that opportunity.
Yeah. I was going to say, Pit Ogre has it. Yeah, so Pit Ogre has it as well, but if he's not in your first place, then you can't do anything with him.
Yeah, Pit Ogre has it, but Pit Ogre at bronze is like 1 speed. Look at this thing.
Garbage.
Yeah, he's got 1 speed. Are you telling me you're going to rely on that thing? And he's only got 7 hit points. By the time
at least magic always hits.
By the time he swings, by the time he should have his turn, he's already dead. And so I don't think that's this card's amazing at higher levels, amazing, but it needs to get that void so that it's suddenly the hit points it's actually kind of resilient.
Plus the enrage increases his accuracy, which is nice.
Yeah. This is a great card, but at bronze it's terrible. So this card with 2 speed is, because of the magic, is not usually going to miss unless you're shooting at a phase monster. Immunity is always great, and this is a nice touch at the highest levels. It's a strong card. I feel like this is still like a 7 because I don't think it's so amazing. So here's one criticism: the 2 speed is going to mean that the stun is usually taking effect after my other monsters have already gone. Like, in order to take advantage of a stun, you almost need to be fast. So if this had 4 speed, this would be so much more impactful.
Yes. So yes and no. Like, obviously it's better to get it, earlier on, because then you're most likely going to be able to kill him, right? But since it's not it's not a stun until the end of the turn, it's a stun until their next turn.
Yep.
So it kind of like is okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I do still think it's strong. I just see like if I'm being critical, if I'm like just really being nitpicky, that's one of the limitations.
Right.
It's got a fair amount of hit points for 4 mana. It's got a really great ability for 4 mana. It's got immunity is amazing. And I think this is the cheapest immunity card in the game. So it'll be playable in Little League, which is nice for those, Noxious Fumes games.
Yeah.
I think this is probably like a 7.5 or something like that. I said 7 a second ago. I'm going to say maybe it's a 7.5.
Oh, so real quick, the card Epona, right?
Yep.
What if I told you it wasn't the girl in the picture, it was the horse?
Epona. Oh. Is that so? So you're saying the horse is the hero?
I mean, I don't think it is, but in Zelda, it is definitely the horse that's called Epona.
Oh.
So that's why I was like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's the horse. And maybe that girl right there is just Zelda.
Yeah, I was going to say, right? Because it certainly could be. Interesting. And the ability is strengthen, divine shield, immunity, repair. So these are like support. These are like support abilities, which kind of do feel like a horse, don't they? Like if you were going to give abilities to a support monster like a horse. Yeah, so maybe. I don't know, but maybe. I love this artwork. This purple is amazing. This pink is amazing.
This card is so good. I think it's a 10.
Let me see here. I'm just stunning. I'm honestly like for the last 10 seconds I've just been staring at the color. This is
The more you look at it, the better it gets.
This is, in my opinion, like you guys will notice maybe when you look at my YouTube thumbnails, this is kind of the theme I often go for. Kind of a gold, like a vibrant fuchsia or like purple pink, and then like a sky blue. A lot of my thumbnails are that is this color combo. I really love this art style. And then for 4 mana, that's a good start. Double strike is amazing at level 1. Super sneak. How high are we getting here? So we got 2 melee damage over here at the highest levels, but cripple. Wow.
Affliction.
Yeah, and affliction. So it feels kind of rare that the affliction is going to be deeply meaningful because it isn't always the case, and this is not exactly a rule, but it isn't always the case that the rear defender is going to have a heal. There are examples. Cornelius, you put him in the back line, it's got heals.
Also triage.
Yep, that's true. That's a good point. I love this so much. In this combo right here is just nasty.
If they put Kron at the final position, this guy like just destroys Kron before he even gets to be last stand.
Yeah,
Wow.
This is very, very strong. And this is Dragon, right? Yeah, Dragon.
I didn't even think about that. Wow, this guy's even better.
This is very strong. This is a rare card. Wow.
It's played in literally every single thing except for you can only use or odd cards.
Yeah.
Little League, it's playable in commons and rares only.
Feels like sneak attack is already such a nasty play, and this comes in the Little League matches, dropping double strike, sneak, 2 damage each, cripple. This is a very good card. Of course you need to position it wisely because you're gonna have to be, taking care of that issue. It's not exactly. It's certainly vulnerable.
Like speed with Kitty.
Exactly. It's not the fastest at the lowest levels, but it's got a good 4 speed. And then, like you say, it's a dragon, so it's going to work with Kitty or even with Quicks. Quicks has that -1 speed for the enemy, which is, in my opinion, an offensive play for yourself, right? So this is strong. I mean, is this better than this? In my mind, no.
They serve, so they're like two different purposes.
Yeah.
But like, I think with that other guy being 4 mana, that pushes him to be into a higher tier.
I like this card a lot. It's probably for me, I'm saying this is an 8.5. And for me, I'm saying this is a 9. And you're right, they're totally different cards. It's apples and oranges. It's not one or the other. Honestly, I probably would do Kitty, this guy in the first position, this guy in like this third position. So I mean, they could work together theoretically. Yeah, I like it a lot. And then this artwork is sick too, man. Wow. Okay, what do we got here? 2 mana, legendary. Out the gate, he's got the reflect shield, camouflage. What good is camouflage? Right? Like, help me think that through. Like, why would this be helpful?
So I kind of want you to give your first impressions of it, and then I'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay, so let me think this through. Okay, so this is this neutral? Or is this...
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a neutral, 2 mana cost. It doesn't do enough damage, but it's so cheap. It's quite slow. It's got no armor. It's really vulnerable. The reflect shield's helpful, of course. And the camouflage synergizes really logically with the reflect shield, because if you put this in the back line and, for instance, there's a sneak attack that had blast or a sniper that is hitting your somebody near this guy, the reflect shield is going to really help, because the camouflage has got you covered, but then the reflect shield is going to help even when somebody nearby gets a blast hit. Immunity, that's the cheapest immunity card in the game now. The slow is always nice. Like, this is like a nice support monster, because the slow and the amp is so helpful.
Especially in colorless or neutral, my bad.
Yeah, I still feel like I think of it as a nice support monster, but it's inconsequentially damaged. You know what I mean? Like, it's doing an inconsequential damage, and I would never put it in the first position. What? Yeah, but like, what is it meant for? Like, I mean, it's kind of feels like a creeping ooze with an immunity. It's gonna stay alive. It's gonna stay alive, hidden in the back, using its immunity to like persevere through noxious fumes. And yes, it's gonna help, support your team in powerful ways. I don't know that I love it though. Maybe I'm missing something. Based on what you said, tell me what you think about it.
So the chat also goes through it, and we talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you put this right next to a taunt, you never have to worry about blast, as long as there's only one side getting blasted.
I was kind of saying that with the camo and the reflect shield, because you put it in the back line, and anything, its low hit points are not going to be a problem due to that like blast.
But yeah, it's more so like if you have a taunt in the front row, say you're using the shield bearer or whoever, you put him right behind him.
Yep.
Unless they have scatter shot, which obviously makes it to where your shield bearer will take all the hits, and then this guy, if he does end up taking blast, there's no blast damage coming through. 0. So now you don't have to worry about them being able to deal 50% more damage. So in the rule set of everyone has blast, or off chance there's a Jotun, or if the character themselves have blast, you will never have to worry about it with this guy, or put him right next to a wave brood as well.
Wave brood, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great point. When I do like a wave brood, um, when I do like that sort of taunt play, I'll put like a second monster nearby with like high hit points because I want to prepare for blast damage, and this would kind of circumvent that need. And when I see I put like Dr. Blight in the back line because of the camo, and you want him to live along. He will eat some blast damage every now and then. So this is going to step in for sure. But I still think of it as like a support monster, like a good support monster. The amp is very powerful in the right context. The slow is always nice, and it's gonna hide and be resilient while hiding. So I like it. I just don't think I still don't like it nearly as much as I like the Dampier or the Skull or the Wolf or that Hippo. So those are my top 4.
So also when I saw this dude, what is his name again?
This
one? Okay, all right, Kinjo. So when I first saw this guy, I hated him.
Yeah.
I was like, he does literally nothing until you're in gold or diamond. But again, it's when they were telling me, it's like, oh, it protects you against blast right next to a taunt. Like you never have to worry about it then, or very little. But now you think about it in terms of the gold and diamond level.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. This is a support that's not dying until your taunt or your tank dies.
Yeah.
So now you're able to support your entire team until your front line just is gone.
Yeah.
Which is very strong, especially if you're playing him with like Lord Arianthus or the any way to give your opponents like thorns or return fire or magic reflect, whatever it is. Then that makes him even better because now you're adding the 1 extra damage on top of it. So like, again, I still don't love him, but now I understand what his point is.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. He is resilient despite his low hit points due to the immunity, the camo, and the reflect shield. And he's going to be offering at the highest level some really interesting team support. But for 2 mana, I honestly would do several other cards first, including like right off the top of my head. I'm using, like, I play a lot of Kitty, so I know you guys don't have Kitty, but like looking at again, I wish I could look at the mana cost here. Let's see. I like just from Kitty, Naga Assassin.
That one's so good.
There are so. Who else do I play? I showed 2 from the white team. That's Celestial Harpy. There's a magic 2 cost. The Silver Shield Archer, the Pellicor Conjurer, the Herbalist has a triage and archery damage that works well with the Sloan. There's another 2 coster. Oh, there he is, Dax with the amp. So I mean, I just feel like, yeah, I know I'm hearing you. There's some, even the Silver Shield Bard has some great abilities, swiftness and cleanse. And that's just
now the thing is, he's like a decent support, but he's neutral. So that's really what makes him like, I don't want to say better than those other ones, but it's just better in general speaking.
Yeah. I hear you.
Rather than being like, oh, I'm in death and I do this. All right, well, great, whatever.
Yeah, he's good too. I mean, these are all good. Is there one that I thought was bad? Really? No. And they're all at least like a 6 in my opinion. They're all must have, but like degrees of must have. It's like for me, I almost buy every card in the game. I'm going to get every one of them. But I think Dampier is in the top 4. Hungry Skull is in the top 4. Jared's in the top 4, and Gween is in the top 4, and the rest of them are good. So that's a tough Yeah.
I think our top four are pretty much the same, but it comes down to, all right, if you have Jotun, you then prioritize those two red creatures.
Yes.
um, but obviously that's just a different scenario.
Yeah.
So we take the account of, all right, we don't have that stuff.
Yeah.
And then yeah, our top four is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's just my top one is that the dragon card.
This one, yeah. Yeah, I'd say my number one is yeah. It's hard for me to decide. It might even be this guy. Now, that's hard. No, I can't say. I think it's so hard.
I thought you were saying that guy because like the dragon one was an 8.5 for you, and you were saying that guy's at least a 9.
But didn't I say this was like an 8 or a 9? I can't remember what I said on this one.
I don't know.
This one to me with like the 3 hit points and the enrage and the vulture, because the vulture is going to get you up to 8 hit points, and you're going to have enrage and dodge and 5 damage. Yeesh. And vulture is so amazing in the equalizer rule set where you get if you start out the gate like getting 8 hit points or 10 hit points, and then you got vulture on top of it. So for 2 mana, that's really. But no, I think yes, number one. And then it's really hard for me to say between these two. I'm going to say this is 9, and these are both 8.5s, and this is probably an 8. That was fun.